Oh, well.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Kim, may I say that turquoise is your color?
Well,
Thank
she's also,
you.
she's also very tan, if y'all noticed.
Yes, I went to Cabo and I got sunburn for the first time in years. I cannot remember the last time I got sunburned, but I got sunburned. So
Oh, wow. Yeah, you look very
it
sunny.
happens. Thank you. Thank you.
Well,
Hello,
we're
everyone.
Hi,
happy.
everybody.
Are you at home, Debbie?
I am. I changed
Oh,
my
okay.
angle around my desk.
Everything's okay. Yeah, it looks
This is
nice.
what you see now.
It looks very professional.
Ooh,
I have to up my game now that you and Andrea are professional.
That's fun. All right. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Ladies' Night. All are welcome. Women empowering women. And I'm super excited as we continue Black History Month. And tonight's three amazing women.
Yes.
And so, Kim, you happen to be first.
Oh, I'm first. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I missed everybody last week. We had a week off, so I missed everybody. But we're back. So, okay. So my pick this week is Bessie Coleman. Another amazing lady. She was the first African-American woman and the first Native American to hold a pilot license.
Oh.
She was.
The picture. I have such great pictures of her, and I can't show them.
She was born in 1892, January 26, 1892, and passed away very young, April 30th, 1926. She was born to a family of sharecroppers in Texas. She worked in the cotton fields as a young girl, but she also studied in a small segregated school. And she attended one term of college at Langston University. She developed a very obsession and early interest in flying, and was told, of course you cannot be a pilot in the United States because you're a woman and you're Native American, you're also African American, so of course you cannot. So she saved her money. She got scholarships or sponsorships, and she went to France to flight school and got her pilot license. Amazing. Because I mean, most people would just be like, oh, well, I guess I can't. Now I guess I'll just move on and do something else. No, she did not do that. She was popularly known as Queen Bess and Brave Bessie. She could not, she had hoped actually to start a school for African-American flyers. That was her dream, to do that. She did not get a chance to do that. She died very young, but she also could not work as a commercial pilot because, of course, again, she was not a male and she was not white. So she was a stunt flyer. She flew and she did stunts and earned money that way. And that's how she earned her living. Amazing. So she was definitely a pioneer for early pilots in the African-American, Native American communities. But when she was planning to do some of her stunts, she would take planes out, obviously, and fly them around and get used to the flight. Yeah, she was what a cutie look. She's
really pretty
girl,
beautiful,
pretty girl. And she, at 34 years of age, she took her plane out. Two people took it out before and said, it is not safe. Do not take this plane out. And because she was Brave Bessie, she said, well, I'm testing out a parachute thing, so I'll take it out anyway, and I'll jump out in my parachute. And that was just the way she thought. She took it out. 10 minutes in, it started to go down. She fell 2,000 feet to her death.
God.
A horrible, horrible incident. She, of course, died on impact. Her co-pilot, Wills, his name was Wills, could not gain control of the plane, so he also died in the crash. She was, of course, honored for being the first, in this profession, but as a woman, but also African American, also Native American. She was, had many honors after she passed away, but two of them, 2001, she was inducted into the Women's Hall of Fame and had many honors. Another was in 2006, she was inducted into the National Aviation Hall of Fame. So that is Bessie. And what an amazing, amazing lady.
Yeah, amazing. And, other things about her is she fought every step of the way. She, tried to get her pilot's license here. It didn't happen. She saved her money, went to France where they taught her, where she, got her license, learned all these things, made friends. She was welcome there. She came back to the United States where she was not welcome because she was a woman and a woman of color. They were a little bit more progressive than in France or whatever, in Europe. And then since she couldn't do what she wanted to do as far as being, what you said, flying people around or whatever.
Commercial pilot, yeah.
Yeah, she did the stunt stuff, which she was really good at, you guys. And her male counterparts were jealous of this. So something that they don't write in what you found, Kim, is they think that it may have been foul play that she was killed.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because when they went through the wreckage, they found that a wrench had been left into one of the areas, I guess, and stopped some of the controls. I guess where it was placed, it stopped some of the controls. So you're right. There was a, conspiracy kind of out there that she may have been sabotaged.
Yeah. Literally a wrench in her plant, in her flight. So she would go into cities to perform and stuff like that. And people would come, like they wanted to see her, but her male counterparts did not like it. And so she had to come in a different way and everything, like the back door. She had to come in through there. She couldn't come in like normal people. And then the planes that were offered her, they just would bring her junk planes to use. So she was really used to flying junk planes because she could never get the good ones. They were literally trying to sabotage her whole career. And so, and then it ended up taking her life, is what I think.
Yeah.
But she fought for all she did. And she was an amazing, amazing pilot. She could fly planes that no one would ever touch. She's like, oh, I got this. And she like literally, and no one would ever touch that plane, but she would do it. She just was a plane whisperer. Yeah.
And she was amazing. And imagine, like I said, you find out, well, you can't do that. Well, I guess I'll do something else. No, she did it. She found a way to do it. She had to learn a foreign language to be able to do it, to pass the test. I mean, the tenacity is just, it's really is just amazing. And she earned the names that she, what did they call her? Queen, what was it? Oh, Queen Bess and Brave Bessie. I mean, absolutely earned those 100 times over. But what an amazing, amazing lady. So we see what she has to say, and maybe she can shed some light on what happened to her.
I'm just feeling the frustration again, hearing about another woman who couldn't do something.
Yeah.
it's just so outrageous. And I know, we know, but it's just when you hear it like that kind of story
I
again,
know.
and it's just like, come on. Again, why didn't they celebrate her and draw more people in and get more money? And then they, instead of jealousy, embrace it.
And what she wanted to do, to her ultimate goal was to teach others. That was going to be, that was her dream, you know, was to pass this on and teach other people.
She was raising money. She was saving her money to open a school.
I mean,
yeah.
She feels like a really fun person.
There actually was a lot of heartbreak around her passing. She's saying there was a lot of,
Well, yeah.
like she was surprised at how many people, there was a lot of people who grieved her passing. She's highlighting two men that didn't like her very much. I think they were flyers as well, stunt flyers. She's saying, you know, she's showing me like every step forward was and 3 step backs, you know, like that. So it was like 1 step forward, 3 back, 1, you know what I mean? At least it was very.
She's talking about rumors. They started rumors about her, made rumors about her sexuality, about her, a lot of like rumors about her. She's saying, but she's saying how it, well, she's saying it was, this is weird. She's saying it was cheap behavior. It was cheap behavior. So she keeps saying cheap behavior, but she was, it really hurt her. And it did affect the way people, whether they would come and see her. It did have an effect, basically. It did affect
trying to undermine
her career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it was like love and hate. She's like, I experienced complete love and adoration and complete hate and disgust. Yeah. It was like 2 extremes. I'm getting chills with that for some reason. I don't know why, but she's like these 2 extremes. She felt it completely. And she just had to, it was she's saying like a mental mind trick or a mental trick to focus on the positive, force herself to focus on the positive, because if she got caught up in the negative, it would have brought her down to her knees. That would have been it. And she wasn't going to let it happen.
And I just asked her, Kim, too, why she chose towns that were so racist. Why would she choose those towns to fly in, to do, to perform? And she said, because I wanted to reach the Black children. I wanted them to see me. I didn't care about those white folks that were caught in that mindset.
I'm getting chills with that too. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Yep, I see. She never got a lucky break, right? We see that she had to, literally the next card is hustle.
Yeah.
He had to hustle to get this all done. So that just shows she had way more than these guys who were giving her the mouth, right? Talking bad about her and everything. She didn't have it like them. She couldn't go to the local schools and do it. She had to, as you said, go all the way to Paris and learn another language that made her even smarter than them, which drove them nuts. I see that she got spirituality here. So I think her faith kept her strong. Faith in herself, faith in source. Possibly she may have been connected, but I do see her as a faithful person. And this card's really interesting, the transition. So when she went over, you see the hearing device.
Yeah.
So definitely something in the plane. There was no, I don't think they could communicate either to each other or to anyone else to ask for help. I do feel it was a setup.
I do too, Andrea. I just got that too.
Yeah. communications, like in the wiring of the plane, maybe the altitude wasn't showing properly. You know what I mean? Like something was off. Oh, that is so awful. Did she jump out of the plane with her parachute, or did she go with, you said she fell?
She got ejected is what it said. She got ejected out of the plane.
I would imagine she left her body before she.
That's so weird. That's exactly what I saw, Andrea, when you said that. Because she's like, I didn't. I was gone already. I didn't feel anything. Don't worry. Yeah. It's almost like she's trying to let us. Don't worry. I was out. I did not feel anything.
I really like her energy. I like who she is.
Yes.
Celestial rejuvenation. So she's been using this time wisely on the other side. Celestial rejuvenation. So I don't know if that's her plan for comeback or if she's already back. I don't know if I feel her back yet, but maybe working on the other side, trying to help mend things on the other side. Rejuvenation. Taking a time out before she comes back. Teacher. What year was that?
She
18.
Sorry. She was born 1892 and passed away 1926.
Wow.
I do feel if she's not back, Andrea, then there's plans. I almost feel like I feel like she may be back already.
Yeah, I can't quite find it, so she might be back.
And she chose to come. She's saying, because I'm like, did you come back as a man so it'd be easy? She's like, no, I came back and I'm actually a person of color, because I wanted to continue my mission that I was cut off from.
Yeah.
Do it for you.
Look at how beautiful.
Do it for you. So that's her going to France. That's her doing it for her. Everyone said no. She could have not done it. She could have been a waitress or whatever. She did it for herself. This is a self-motivated woman doing it for her because she knew it was right. And then I love this. Justice is coming. This is about social justice. You know, she's coming back. If she's not back, she's already back, right? She may be a lawyer or someone involved, right?
We will know who she is.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, we won't know it's her, but we will know her.
Yes.
You will. Yeah. It'll be like that. If it's not, it might be already someone we know. I don't know. She's not giving that intel, but she said she didn't take any way out. She still wanted to continue her fight for injustice.
So Mims, I asked her this question for you. She's saying, readers, what is your suggestion? How do we get past the anger at people who did this to her and others like them? She is saying that it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to but she's saying it ultimately there needs to be action. Action helps, but also she's also saying let it motivate you. And she's also saying she didn't really get angry. She remembers being determined. Like, I'll show you. I don't need to tell you anything, and I don't need to get upset at you. I will show you what this, I will show you what I can do. I will show you what women can do. I'll show you that I can get this done. It is I feel like she's saying it's when we get angry, it's our soul knowing that it's a call to action. So that's what that is. When you feel that kind of that feeling of like injustice, it's our soul telling us it's a call to action, is what she's saying.
Awesome. Yes.
She knew. She knew.
Use that use that anger as power towards action. I love that. And Connie, you're right. She is a badass, and she was a badass. And when we say that she was out there doing tricks on the plane, I'm saying she was on top of the plane, 2,000 feet up. Like she'd get out and walk around on the plane while it was going. Come on, people.
No fear.
Yeah.
I mean, no fear.
Wow.
Yeah.
She just did not.
She loved it. There's destiny too. That is someone who had to fly planes.
Yes.
Had to.
Yeah. Now she's probably going to the moon.
Yes. Yeah.
Woman of color going to the moon. Yay.
Yay. Yeah, she's amazing. Well, thank you, Bessie. Thank you, Bessie.
Really, really cool. I really like her.
Really cool. I really like her too, man. I'm just like,
that is her spirit. It does. She still feels. You can still feel that, just that fight in her. That, and not like she said, not angry, not hateful. Just like, I'm just gonna do it. That's all there is to it. I'm just that tenacity. That just like, that she still has that. It's in her spirit. She has that.
And do it for you. She was doing it for her. She's going to show you by doing it for her, right? So do what you need to do and don't listen to people telling you.
Exactly.
Don't tell me I can't do it. Don't tell me I can't.
Exactly.
All right.
The haters. The haters going to hate. Just let them hate.
And she's famous today, and those idiots that didn't like her, nobody knows who they are. So she's still strong, and
have zero knowledge of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Andrea.
Okay, so I picked the lovely and talented Josephine Baker for my select tonight. She was born in 1906 and passed away in 1975. I didn't realize she lived into the 70s. I thought it was before that, but she passed away at 68 years old. And I'll tell you how she passed away, because I think it's really beautiful. So at 68, she was doing a performance, right? There was a bit of a revival performance with her, and she was on stage, and it was like sold out, and there's like famous people there, and huge show, great show. 4 days later, she was found. She had passed away in her bed, with newspapers around her with all the rave reviews of the show she did. It just gets me so, right? It's just like I see a ball of sunshine there, where she was reading all the love. And I mean, that's a really great way to go, right? Surrounded by that positive feedback. Oh, beautiful. Okay. So she was born Frida Josephine McDonald in 1906 in St. Louis, Missouri. Her mother, Carrie, was adopted, so we don't know her entire lineage. And her father is possibly Eddie Carson, but there's still a little bit of controversy about that. There she is.
Yeah, she's pretty.
She grew up in a really poor area of town, where there was mostly just rooming houses, brothels, and apartments with no indoor plumbing. She was poorly dressed, hungry as a child, and learned street smarts at an early age by playing on the streets. So she did not have an easy start to it. At 8 years old, she began working as a live-in domestic for the white families. Can you imagine at 8 years old having to work?
No.
There was also abuse with that. One of the women that she worked for burned her hands because she used too much soap with the laundry. So now this is a child of 8 years old who maybe put too much soap in the laundry, and you punish her by burning her hands. Unacceptable. At 12 years old, she dropped out of school. So she did her best for as long as she could with school, but just wasn't happening for her. At 13, she was waitressing, and she lived on the streets in the slums of St. Louis. She lived on the streets in cardboard boxes and what have you, trying to waitress, and also was street performing. Look how pretty she is. Oh my goodness.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
So she would do dances and stuff on the street with other people, I guess, trying to make money as well. She married at 13 also. How is that even legal?
Oh my gosh.
It only lasted a year. Then again, she was married at 15 in 1921. And so while she was living on the street and waitressing and trying to perform, she also was trying to audition for roles. Her mother was not supporting this at all. She thought she should stay with her husband and take care of her husband. But she was like, I don't think so. She made it to vaudeville, and she divorced her husband in 1925. So she would have been 19, about 19 years old. So just like Bessie, Josephine went to France. In 1925, she went to Paris and performed at the Champs-Élysées theater. So that was a big deal at 19, I'm quite sure. And that's where her career took off. She got famous in France for her erotic dancing and her outfits and her whole persona that she had. So she rose to fame. It wasn't in the States, it was in France. Lots of people coveted her. Ernest Hemingway was infatuated. She was the most beautiful woman in the world. Picasso painted her. And this performance led her to be able to travel the world. Like, it was just such a skyrocket to fame and excitement, I guess, glamorous lifestyle. In 1927, she was the first African-American woman to be in a film. It was a silent film called Siren of the Tropics. She was also the first African-American famous person to live in France. She eventually married someone and got citizenship there too. In America, though, she came back to perform in America, and things didn't go so great. So it was 1936. She got a spot in the Ziegfeld Follies to horrible reviews. Horrible reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I don't think so. And she went back to France in 1937, and she married Jean Leon. This is wild. In World War II, she was kind of a spy against the Germans. I love this. So she was part of the French resistance. And because she was a performer, it was logical to them that she would go to different parts, different countries. So she could hobnob with all these, high-ranking German officers and get information that she would send back. I mean, isn't that so exciting? And she would pin information she got to the inside of her underwear because she figured as a celebrity she wouldn't be searched at the airports and ports of travel.
Uh-huh.
She hid the info she had. She sewed it to her underwear.
Yeah.
Wow.
The dual faces of her, yeah.
Just amazing. So after the war, she went back to performing. With her husband, she unfortunately had several miscarriages, which finally ended up in a hysterectomy and a horrible infection. She got quite ill from it. But she went on to adopt what she called the Rainbow Tribe. So she adopted children of different ethnicities because she wanted to show that all different cultures could live together in
The
harmony.
Rainbow Tribe. I love
The Rainbow Tribe. Does that give you goosebumps?
Yes.
She was big with civil rights. So even though she lived in France, she still was, fighting for the rights in America. When she was in the States, she would not perform anywhere that had segregated clubs. And she did receive several threats because of that, but she said she wasn't scared. So that's good. In 1951, she walked into, or tried to walk into, the Stork Club in Manhattan, which was a highfalutin place, I suppose. And she was refused service. She was not allowed to go in because she was a person of color. Grace Kelly happened to be sitting at one of the tables in the restaurant, saw what was going on, ran over to her, and walked out of the restaurant arm in arm with her.
Wow.
And they became friends from that moment. When things were a little rough for Josephine later on, it was Grace Kelly who gave her an apartment to live in and helped her along. So that was a lifelong friendship. But out of a terrible situation, they became really close, I love that story. In 1963, she was the only official female speaker at the March on Washington alongside Martin Luther King Jr. So that was a very important moment for her. And she said, "I have walked into the palaces of kings and queens and into the houses of presidents and much more. But I could not walk into a hotel in America and get a cup of coffee. And that made me mad. And when I get mad, I open my big mouth. and then look out, because when Josephine opens her mouth, they hear it all over the world."
Yeah.
So she's just such a robust, amazing, like, I think of her as this little child in this, in these poverty areas, living near a brothel and having to work at the age of 8 and all of these things, not having enough food to eat as a child, to becoming, this beautiful, wonderful entertainer that everyone wanted to see and be near. And I love that she passed away surrounded by rave reviews. Right. So what a beautiful, beautiful lady. I didn't know all of this. I think there's been movies, but I don't know if I just don't remember all of this info. I love the World War II spy stuff.
Yeah, right.
And did she always live in France? Did she ever move back to the U.S.?
She stayed in France. So I think she came sometimes to the States, but ended up living in France.
In France. Yeah. I mean, right. Here's two ladies again that we rejected, and as the United States, and we lost because of our own ignorance of the times. It's so, disgraceful and sad.
Like this, she could perform all over the world, perform for king and queens, but she couldn't walk into the Stork Club to get a cup of coffee.
And it's our loss. It really, really is. It's just
wildly offensive.
Yeah.
But what a
Sister of Six says she was friends with Bessie. Both of them were poets.
So again, with the tenacity of Bessie as well, to push through, to keep going, to perform, even though her mother didn't want her to. She had a calling to perform clearly, and she kept doing it despite hardships. I just feel like there was this beam of light calling her, and she just kept walking into, it's like the spotlight or something, right? She kept finding it, and she did find it. And that when she got there as well, in her fame, she would not perform at clubs that were segregated or whites only, that kind of thing. Like, she made a stand, and I think one place offered her quite a bit. She said, "No, you have to change your ways. Like, I'm not performing here like this." So the money, she did not have a price when it came to that.
One time, Josephine dipped her toe in a public pool at some ritzy hotel in the U.S., and the pool was evacuated and sterilized because she was a person of color.
Disgusting.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it just turns your stomach. It really, really does.
I remember that was the movie Haley Berry was in. I think I saw that happen. I mean, oh my God. What?
So I'm having a little chat with her, and involving what we're talking about here, and like the whole thing, and she's like, your emotions are not mine. Like I'm like, I'm feeling this emotion. She's like, your emotions are not mine. A totally different perspective. You have no idea. Even if I tried to put an emotion into you on what it felt like to grow up during that time. And, from the get-go, from the first moments of memory, people being segregated and being shown and told, and everything in life was telling you that you were nothing but a dog, and even treated worse than a dog. She says she's very because I'm trying to connect, and she's not really allowing that connection into what she's feeling, because she says it's almost like, it's not like anything against me. It's just that I wouldn't totally understand what I was feeling. And that makes sense to me. But she's very, she says it's good to be empowered with truth, and it's good to take that power and bring it to the light, so things are not in the dark anymore. So it's like out in the light is better than continue to be, shoveled under. And so she's so proud of, first of all, she loves that we're doing the show, and proud of the women of the day today who continue to push through and fight for to be themselves, to do and become, and continue to chip away at this system that does not work, and that keeps people in the realm of dogs. Nothing against dogs. It's just a symbol. She's very angry. Very angry.
I'm getting the same thing. She just showed me, well, she was saying that she's extremely involved in what is happening now. And she just said, do you know this man? And she brought in George Floyd, and she's holding his hand.
Oh my God.
Chills from like head to toe. She is very, like you said, Debbie, she's very, very angry and very, very involved. I'll just put it that way. She's very, very involved in what's happening right now with social justice. It is she's very, very involved.
Yeah, I heard, look what I did. What are you guys doing? I didn't play in clubs and stuff. Like I marched, I did, what is everyone else doing? What are you guys doing? Not like us specifically, but in general. I feel that anger, that sort of, I don't know if it's anger, but frustration. Like, why is it still happening?
Right. Yes. Yeah. And I think, it's that is what it is, Andrea. That's what she's trying to show, is this is still going on. And it's some ways, well, not in some ways, in more, they're more isolated incidences, but they're just as bad. It's just as bad. It's just that we can see it. It's on camera now, and it's a little more isolated than it was. It was more of a bigger group thing. Now it's more isolated events, but it's still happening. And it's, yeah. I felt my heart drop when she said that and brought him in. But I know exactly what you're saying. It's still happening, and she is so
disgusted,
frustrated. Yes.
Yeah. So angry. And she says, people trend this, and I'm using her words, you guys. They trend this. So it's a trend to Black Lives Matter, to shout that out on your Facebook and do that. And people trend this. And then the voice stops. She said, keep the voice going, keep this trending. Right. And again, I am shaking with the energy that's feeling. I feel like I've been schooled. Like, you try to have an idea, you try to connect in, and you try to have this understanding and enlightenment in this area, and continue to bring light and try to make change. You got to work harder. We got to do better.
What are you doing? That's what I heard. What are you doing? Like, what do you, as in all of us, right, in North America or wherever, what are you doing so that this stops?
Right.
Look, she made a stand. Is everyone else making one?
And I think it's partly too because we're still here right now. She's like, I'm doing everything I can from where I am. You guys are still here. And she said, she's saying, she just said to me, I know it's hard, baby. That's what she said. I know it's hard, baby, but chip away. Just chip away. Keep chipping away. That's her advice. People are in the chat. They're like, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. Where do we start? She's saying, just chip away. That's all we need to do is just keep chipping away.
What can we do? Fearless. So stay fearless against the bullies. Stay fearless. Don't be afraid of, there's more good people than bad. So don't be afraid. We can.
She said,
I'm feeling really sad because of her.
So
it's very heavy.
It is heavy. And so I'm going to try to bring this message the best I can. She's saying, change is not making the Black and brown community into a white community. Change is when the white community embraces the Black and brown community. Don't try to change them into you. That's not change.
Yeah, it's really powerful. So everyone, what are you doing? What am I going to do? What are you going to do? And I just feel her frustration. Why do we have to still talk about this?
Right. She's saying one reason that she loved what she did is because when she was on stage, she felt free. It was when she could just let go, and she felt free. And she wanted everyone to feel that, to feel just that release and that freedom of expression. And she knew, so that people before her died not knowing that. People in front of her would not know that, but that is one reason she loved what she did so much. That freedom of expression. And she's Like it's a right we're born with, and it's taken away. But we have that. We all are born with that right, that freedom of expression. It's other people that try to take it from us. So don't let them take it. Yeah, don't let them take it.
She's also reminding that she also helped against the Germans during that terrible time. I don't even want to bring up what they were called. I don't even like to say that word. So she was, life matters, right? So it was, she didn't have to do that over in France to help against the Germans, but she did because it was the right thing to do. She put herself at risk. She put information in her underwear. What are we doing here? What are we doing, people? What are we doing? Look what she did. That's all I keep hearing. Look what I did. And that's one woman by herself doing these things, fighting big fights. Those are big things she was doing.
Amen.
She said she loved it. She was not, she's like, surprisingly, I was not afraid. I loved it. I really thought it was my duty. It was something my duty, my call of duty, or my call to duty. And she's like, I'm not going to lie. It was fun. It was fun. I'm telling you, it was fun to be a spy. But she's saying it was fun, and I really did like it. I can't, and she's almost like I can't lie. It was pretty amazing and pretty fun.
Wow.
And she was not afraid though. She's acting like it was not
fearless. But she's telling us I was not afraid. Fearless. Be fearless. Look at her, fearless. Bessie, fearless, right?
Right.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I didn't know this was the energy that she was going to be.
I did. I was really heavy too.
I think she's just mad that it's still happening. And
I think so too.
You, George Floyd, and say, "Do you know who this is?"
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why is this happening?
Exactly. Like, that's exactly right, Andrea. That's exactly the all three of these women, they had they fought to do what they loved. They found a way to do what they wanted to do against all odds. They found a way to do it. They were, and again, survivors, all three of them, survivors, just absolute survivors. Yeah, amazing.
Well, I want to thank Josephine for coming in.
Schooling us. She came in and schooled us.
Thank you so much.
She did.
Touchy Philly. She did give me a little wink on the way out, though. So she said it had to come in at that, in that manner, or we wouldn't listen.
Well, thank you, Josephine. We did hear you.
Yeah.
All right. So the next, the next person we're bringing in is Rebecca Lee Crumpler. So I'm just going to let that go there for a second as I release this connection with Josephine for a second.
And sorry, I said three women. I meant two. These two women. Sorry, I said three women. I knew exactly. That's why I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, exactly. So anyway, go ahead.
You had all the names. I knew what you were talking about.
I know.
Everybody knows all the names. Not everybody does.
Sorry.
But
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and get this set up here so I can see her story. Okay, so Rebecca Lee Crumpler, thank you for coming and hanging out with us. There's a party going on right here. Okay, so Rebecca, she was born in Delaware on February 8th, 31. She grew up in Pennsylvania with her aunt. And I couldn't find a backstory of why. And there she is. There's one of her photos. Yeah, that's her famous photo.
Mm-hmm.
So she lived with her aunt. Her aunt was a person who provided care for the ill. And that's kind of what sparked, there she is, sparked her to go into the field that she went into. She was a very, very bright girl. She attended a prestigious private school, so there must have been some money there. The West Newton English and Classical School in Massachusetts. As a special student in 1852, she moved to Charlestown, Massachusetts, and worked as a nurse. In 1860, she took the bold step of applying to medical school and was accepted into the New England Female Medical School. She was one of 12 women in the school. The New England Female Medical College was based in Boston and attached to the New England Hospital for Women and Children. And that's where she really, she just embedded her whole practice and study around women and children. And she later wrote books on treating women and children. It was founded by Tisdale Tablet and Samuel Gregory in 1848 and accepted its first class of the 12 women in 1850. From its inception, many male physicians derided. Do you write it? Oh, they didn't like the institution, complaining that women lacked the physical strength to practice medicine.
Oh, yeah. We started.
Others insisted that not only women were incapable of mastering a medical curriculum, and that others insisted that not only were women incapable of mastering a medical curriculum, and that many of the topics taught were inappropriate for their sensitive and delicate natures. I love your two faces. I wish I could have snapped a picture. Fortunately, Doctors Tablet and Gregory ignored such false claims and organized a school that required a good English education, a thesis on some medical subject, and a set of courses on the theory and practice of medicine. So, they didn't listen to the ridiculousness. All right. So she went on and studied all the things you study, but mostly she specialized in women and children and physiology and hygiene. So 30 hours, I was 17 weeks in length and 30 or more hours per week during the first year of instruction. Following this was 2-year where you were apprenticeship under a physician's supervision. That's how it went back then. In 1864, Rebecca became the New England Female Medical College only female African-American graduate. First and only.
Wow.
Only? Or anyway, the school closed its doors in 1873. Okay, that makes sense. So she was the first and only woman that graduated from that school. Okay. So she went on, and I'll skip some of this, but this is a perspective. Okay, so a few statistics that help put her remarkable achievement in perspective here. In 1860, there were only 300 women out of 55,000 physicians in the United States, and none of them were African American except her. Wow. So out of 55,000,
wow,
and 300, she was The only one. So yeah. So yay. So that gives some amazing statistics for her.
Amazing. That's amazing.
She went on to university. She we're only 60. Okay, so she continues her education over time, other places. Around the time of her graduation, Rebecca married for the second time. Her first marriage to Wyatt Lee from 1852 to 1863 ended with his death in 1863. In 1864, she married Arthur Crumpler, and Rebecca again began her medical practice in Boston. She wrote a book of medical discourses in 2 parts. So there's the first part and about something and about children, and then the second part was for specifically for the care of women and women's issues. After the end of the Civil War in 1865, so that puts some perspective of where we're at here. The Crumplers moved to Richmond, Virginia, where, to use her own words, she found the proper field for real missionary work, and one that would present ample opportunities to become acquainted with the diseases of women and children. And Rebecca worked under I don't understand what any of this says, but
exploring medicine for women and children, which may not have been.
Yeah, she worked for General Orlando Brown, the Assistant Commissioner of Freedmen's Bureau of the state of Virginia. So it's a blah, blah, blah. She had to work under this whole big old thing because I think of who she was. The Freedmen's Bureau was a federal agency charged with helping more than 4 million slaves make the stunning transition from bondage to freedom. Okay, and so she underwent daily episodes of racism, rude behavior, and sexism from her colleagues, pharmacists, and many others in order to treat, as she later wrote, a very large number of the indigent and other different classes in a population of over 30,000 people of color. So she put herself in the line of major fire constantly and threat to treat people. And in here you have this population that would not have been treated.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So as we go down, so Rebecca Davis Lee Crumpler died March 9th, 1895 in Hyde Park. There's a quote here that they said, "Let us applaud her courage, perseverance, and pioneering achievements. She is an aspiration to all who face adversity, seek diversity, and forge the path forward. Her passion to mitigate the afflictions of the human race was Rebecca's gift and historical legacy, her historic legacy." So, yeah. Talk about pressing through at a time. I mean, it's unprecedented. Wow.
I was feeling when you were saying some stuff in the beginning about women being too weak or, whatever to study or do medicine.
Yeah, they're
complete nonsense. But the problem with it is that what narrative has been projected on women of any color for hundreds, thousands of years, whatever it is, that narrative that's been put on, oh, they're too weak, they're too this. We didn't say that. We're not saying, I don't think women were saying that. That's what was projected. So that was what was believed, and that was believed by probably most men of the day. So again, don't let people label you. Don't let people project onto you what you are. I mean, they projected it to the whole half of the race. So there's the human race, and half of them, female, we're told, you're not worth it. You're too weak. You're this, like, what?
It was, to hold on to that patriarchal power and
yes.
and control. And
yes.
the hard part about that, and I want every woman in here to listen to this, is, we've been under that control, under that umbrella and fog, and we bite at our own other women because of this that has been infiltrated into our system. And we believe, and so you can see back in the time, Andrea, where even other women would look at her and go, oh, this is, you can't be doing this because you're a woman and a woman of color, like whatever the story was. Getting punched by another woman is 3 times worse than because we need to be supporting one another, not taking each other down. And it is just something when you become so aware of that. And we've been infiltrated with the lie and like that, and it seeps through. So we need to be aware of that. And if that's something that we can learn from all the women that come through for us, it's that we need to recognize, and we are not to be taking each other down.
Right. They tried that same line with, remember we did Jackie Mitchell with the baseball player. That struck out the two guys. They said the same thing about her, and that women are just, they're too weak for baseball somehow, even though you just struck out the 2 best baseball players we have as men. And
then it was just believed, and that was it. Women are raised for baseball.
Exactly. But you're right, Debbie. It's if women could learn how to stick together and say, no, this is not happening. We're going to have freedom of choice. We're going to have all these rights. We're going to do all these things. If we stuck together, you're right. There is no way this society could function without women on board. And if we say we're off board, we are sticking together and we're not doing anything until this and this and this happens, that would be it. It's women fighting women. It is the big, it's the chink in the armor, and it's the thing that we need to fix. And once we fix that, we will be unstoppable. I'm telling you.
Yes. So if you feel jealousy towards another woman, or if you look at them and go, oh, no, any of that comes in, stop yourself. It's okay. Just stop yourself, because literally we understand it's been embedded in us to do that to each other. Stop yourself, check it, and erase that from your narrative. Erase it from your filter of how you filter life through, because it's been, you know what I mean? We've been infiltrated with that.
Right.
We've been programmed like that. We need to deprogram and rewrite the new correct program here.
Right.
So just catch yourself. It's okay. Just catch yourself. If you start saying anything negative, just check yourself and back away from that, and then send out encouraging, loving energy to that person.
Yeah,
right.
Because that they're living off an old narrative. So women were pit against each other, or made to compare to each other. That's from a man's narrative. That's not a true female.
Right.
Because women are nurturing, and I'm not trying to bring down men. I'm just saying.
Right. No, nothing against. Yeah.
No.
It just is as it is.
Yeah, if you see a woman doing well, or a young girl, or your neighbor, whatever, support them. Be like, that's really great. It's okay to compliment another woman. It's okay for another woman to be achieving something if you're not, because you shouldn't be judging your life by someone else's anyways.
Right.
So, yeah, champion each other.
And the first beautiful thing, the first, yay for you is recognizing that that you had the feeling. You're like, oh, so that's a good job. Like, I mean, that's the first step. So,
and Rebecca Lee Crumpler, that yes, the race things were going on in the United States at the time, but it had every single woman, regardless of race, backed her up. It would have been a game changer.
Yes.
Exactly.
Imagine if every woman just came out and said, yeah, like, let her study, let her be a doctor, let her do what she wants. We support this.
Exactly.
But again, women living in fear of their husbands, society, whatever. But that narrative is changing, and we're getting stronger, and we're coming into our own. Still have a little ways to go. But collectively, women, like, when you hear about things in other countries that happen, or even in your own, you're like, oh my God, what?
So I asked her, how did she make it through her days when you're constantly like up against sneers and the whole gown? You can just picture it. And she said it was treating that child and saving that woman's life and saving that other child's life. It was focused on that. And that's kind of, she's like, that's what got me through. Is they could sneer at this all day long, but I got to save someone's life that day, or I got to give, whatever. So,
very selfless, unconditional love for community, putting them over herself. And then, she would have received verbal abuse. I'm sure she was threatened, all kinds of horrible things. But it meant so much more to her to help.
She was so grateful too. She lived a life of gratefulness, even amongst all that. She didn't waste her chances. That's for sure.
You're right, though, Debbie, because I'm picking up on her ability to focus in on what mattered. She wasn't distracted easily. She really wasn't. I'm sure, if she really thought about it late at night, it would hurt, things people said. But in the moment, she was very extremely focused, extremely focused on what she had to do and in the moment, and lived a lot in the moment. Actually, I think part of it was the idea that it is like life and death, so you have to really be focused. But she did have an ability to, and she's even saying from a small child, to be able to be in the moment and not be distracted by this, to be completely here. And it really helped her. She's saying was like studying and getting through. She's saying the hard, extremely hard studies she had, very, very hard. She just says how hard it was. I guess medical school at that time, or medical whatever. She's just saying it was incredibly hard, and she had to be very focused.
She showed, when you were talking about that, Kim, she started showing me her with her aunt in incredible conditions. And when I say incredible conditions, I mean really poor conditions, helping sick people. And she'd be really, really young. She learned from very young, maybe even like 3 years old, where you just are quiet and you watch and you stay out of the way. And when she was able, she started to assist her aunt when she was a little older. So you could see her at 5 years old helping, but very focused, and watched her. And yeah, so I think that's where,
Yeah.
kind of linking that when you were saying that about her focus, starting young.
Her energy feels, I like almost angelic, very light, and like angelic is all I could say. Just the selfless caregiver who didn't let anyone stop her. But she feels really angelic. I don't know. Do you guys sense that too?
I was going to say a nun. So the same,
Yeah.
difference, because she almost has like that, almost like like a monk, monastery nun, that kind of, because I also feel like she was very extremely disciplined, and a lot of, to me, it feels like a lot of rituals, and I'm wondering if it's just like how you had to clean and how you had to like do like everything had a ritual to it, and I think that was part of her, almost like part of her practice in a way, keeping focus, keeping in the moment, keeping, maybe that's what I'm picking up on, but it is almost like everything had rituals to it. And it is, but I was going to say none. So that's so funny, because it is like that to me. It does feel like that.
Really pure and goodness and light. And yeah, she's really very sweet, very nice.
Yeah.
And that lesson of helping others.
Yeah. Beautiful.
That's really it. Imagine if we all 8 billion of us helped each other.
Right.
Can you imagine
a
what
different
this place
world
would feel like? It would just feel like what she feels like, light, warm, honey. That's what Earth would feel like if everyone helped each other. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Please.
She wants to tell everyone, she's saying everyone that's listening, everyone that's listening, you can do anything that you want to do. It does not matter if it hasn't been done before. It doesn't matter if it hasn't been done by a woman. You can do anything you want to do, is what she wants to say. That's what she wants to say.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca. All three of these ladies.
I know, just like
through, and amazing women tonight that we got to.
Yeah, I think Josephine Baker threw us for a loop a little bit. I think because I don't know. I mean, I completely understand her, and but man, she came in with a
vengeance.
A little, and I completely understood. But when you think of her, you think of happy performer,
Right.
And she did not. She came in being
like,
"Listen, we have work to do." What's that?
She was yelling. It felt like she was yelling in my ear.
We have work to do is basically what she was like. We have work to do. What are you guys doing? Because we have work to do. Is absolutely, and she's right. She's right.
I know. I'm looking at the family here, and I'm like, oh, you guys, it was kind of mind blowing. I mean, I kind of way. I was not expecting that at all when that happened.
I was not expecting that at all. I was like, oh,
whoa.
But rightly so. I get it. I get why she was feeling that way. Why she feels that way. That's how a lot of us are feeling. Like, why is this garbage still happening?
Right.
And then also, what can we do? Well, be fearless, stand up.
Chip away, keep chipping away. And the thing, and the reason we do this show is to not get the happy feely thing. It's not, it's to understand what people have gone through, understand what we can learn from it, how we can how it can affect our life. And so many of these stories they're heartbreaking. That, you know, what they go through, what they fight for, and that's the lesson, right? It's like we need to fight that hard and do what we are here to do, and yeah, do it. Yes, we shall rise, Connie B. We shall. But you know, it isn't. We love when we have the happy feely. You know, Aretha comes in and says happy feely stuff, but
Mhm.
you know, these are all different people with different personalities and different perspectives and different messages, and we're here to hear all of them. All of them.
Yes. It's an honor to hear them all. And
Absolutely,
it's
it
just so
is.
much to think about. And, you know, as a woman, as a person on the planet, what can we do? You know, women together just feel like they'd mend the earth, right? Mend society if we were together.
Let's do it.
Mhm.
Let's link
Yeah.
up. Let's link up, ladies. Let's
Yeah.
do it. And just continue this movement and this expansion and this
Mhm.
breakthrough. We can't go back to yesterday. We can't go back to an hour and a half ago.
Yeah. No,
So,
exactly. Exactly.
yeah. So we're in this together, and yeah,
We
continue.
are. I mean, that's the good news, right? We're in this together. We're all here to you know, we've all come up very far. We've all come very far. Let's keep going.
And someone wanted in the
Rebecca,
chat wanted us to give our support to those in the Ukraine, the women and everyone, I suppose,
for
with
sure.
what's going on over there. So again, women coming together to empower each other, change the world.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah,
show, ladies.
Blessings to everyone, and thank you again for coming out to Ladies' Night, where all are welcome. Don't have to be.
Yes.
It's just a night of empowerment and truth, and hopefully strengthening our path forward. So thank you again for everybody being with us. Next week we are on Kim.
Fine. Yeah, we'll be there.
And so we'll see you all for next Monday on Kim's channel. Blessings.
All right. Blessings, everybody.